Have you ever seen an adorable Pinafore dress like this and thought, oh, that looks super cute and easy, I want to make one? And then realized sewing patterns are crazy hard to understand? If yes, this is the video for you because I'm going to show you step by step how to draft your very own custom fit Pinafore dress, no pattern needed. Hi, my name's Abby and I help absolute beginners turn their sewing dreams into real wearable clothing. And this project is one of my favorites. It's so customizable. It fits everyone. You can layer it for all different seasons. It's amazing. But I really want to make sure every single person who's on my channel is able to make something they love and doesn't feel lost or confused. So before we jump into this project, 2 notes. 1, if at any point this project feels a little bit too confusing, don't worry, there's actually a very, very easy beginner option. It is the overall dress, okay? So I will link it for you here. So if at any point this one's too much, check out that one. And 2, if you ever start a sewing project and feel stuck, confused, lost, don't worry, I've got you covered. I have a $5 sewing club that I run where you can come, ask questions, get help directly from me. So if that would help you out, links in the description below. Now, let's jump in and see how to make this dress. To draft this dress, we're going to need 5 measurements. The first one's going to be the upper bust. So we're going to take our tape measure, wrap it behind us. We're going to bring it forward directly under our armpits. Yes, it should touch your armpits. And then we're going to come over your chest and we're going to measure just on top of where your breasts start curving and getting really full. Okay, so wherever you're still flat more or less on your chest, before you start getting the full part of your breast, that's where we're going to measure all the way around. Okay, once we've measured that, we are going to measure shoulder to largest part of your breast. Now, this is going to be easiest if you're wearing a t-shirt, so that way you have a shoulder seam. We're going to take the end of the tape measure, line it up with the shoulder seam, and then measure down to the largest part of your breast. Okay, once we've measured that, we're going to take our full bust measurement, which is the largest area around your breasts. So we're going to take the tape measure, we're going to wrap it around your entire body, around the largest part of your boobs, and measure that. Now, if you're struggling with this, or you're not quite sure if you're taking this measurement right, I have an entire video on how to take body measurements the right way, so you can check that out here. Once you have your full bust measurement, we need to figure out what's called your full hip measurement. Now, this isn't truly just your hip. We're trying to find the largest area around the booty area of your body. So for some people, this might be your tummy. For some people, this might be your butt. And for some people, this might be your thighs. So what we're going to do is take the tape measure, wrap it around where we think is the largest part of our body. And then we're going to try to move the tape measure up a little bit and down a little bit. If the tape measure gets looser in both directions, you have found the largest point. Yay! Take this measurement. Now, if you move your tape measure down a little bit and it gets tighter, then you have not found the largest part of your body yet. So move down where it keeps getting tighter, loosen the tape measure if you need to, keep moving, and when it starts getting looser again, now you have found the largest part, okay? So move your tape measure up and down, make sure that wherever you're measuring, if you move up or down from there, your tape measure is getting looser, okay? That's how you know you're at the largest point. So take that measurement. And then the last one that we need is the length of your dress. So for this, we actually need to look in a mirror. We're going to stand up straight and tall. We're going to take the bulk of our tape measure and we're going to hold it right at the base of our neck, okay? Where your neck, at the bottom of your neck, you have a bone, your collarbone, right from there at the collarbone. And then you're going to dangle down the end of your tape measure to about where you think you want the end of your dress to be, okay? Once it's around where you want it, that's the measurement you need to take. Now, if you're not sure how long you want your dress to be, make this longer, okay? It's always easier to make it shorter later. It's much harder to add length, okay? So once we have all those measurements, we're ready for the next step. Now we are going to take a big piece of fabric. I highly recommend an old or thrifted bed sheet. You can just go to your local thrift store, grab one of these. They're great. And we are going to cut out 2 big squares. The squares are going to measure the length of your dress plus 10 centimeters or 4 inches down. And the width of your square is going to be your full hip measurement. Okay, so we need to cut out 2 of these, and then we're going to take one of the squares and we're going to fold it in half. So that way we get half of our full hip measurement, but the length is still the full length of your dress. Okay, now we're going to draft on this fabric. But if your fabric is super wrinkly, make sure you iron it beforehand. It's really important that your fabric is laying flat when we are drafting. Once our fabric is laying flat and it is folded on our tabletop, we are ready to start drafting. So we're going to start in the folded corner, the top folded corner. This is what we're going to call A, okay? From here, we're going to measure away from the fold along the top of your fabric, 9 centimeters. Mark this point. This is going to be B. Okay, now from B, we're going to keep measuring along this side of our fabric. And this time we're going to measure over 7.5 centimeters. And we're going to mark this as C. From C, we're going to measure down 2.5 centimeters and mark this D. Okay, now we are going to connect B and D. So just grab a ruler, connect these 2 points. This is going to be your shoulder seam, and it should be about 8 centimeters long. Now we're going to measure from A down the fold 23 centimeters, and we're going to mark that as point E. Then we're going to measure down 23 centimeters in a couple of other places so we can connect those points and make a line. Once we have that line, we are going to measure along that line distance F. And F is going to be our upper bust measurement. That's the first one that we took. We're going to divide it by 4 and add 1 centimeter. Okay, we'll measure that distance over and that will give us F. So this line is actually going to be the bottom of our armhole. So what we can do now is continue line CD all the way down until these 2 lines intersect or touch. And then we're going to draw in a curve to connect them. Okay, now do not worry about this curve. We are going to make this look much better when it's actually on our bodies. Okay, so just draw something for now for a starting point. Do not stress about this. Now from the center of our shoulder that we drew earlier, we're going to measure down shoulder to largest part of boob measurement. Okay, so wherever this was, we're going to mark it. And once you have marked that, measure this to the end of the fabric. Okay, whatever number you have, take that and mark it again on your fabric so we can again connect these points and make another line. Okay, and once we draw this line, where the line hits the folded edge is going to be point G. Then, once we have that line on our fabric, we are going to measure from G along this line out to letter H. And H is going to be our full bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 centimeters. Okay, so measure out that distance, mark it, that's going to be H. And now we're going to come all the way back to A, all the way back to the very beginning. And from A, we're going to measure down 9 centimeters. And we're going to mark this, and this is going to be I. Now, just like the shoulder seam, we're going to draw a line straight out from I, straight down from B, and we are going to draw a curve here. And again, we are going to work with this when it's actually on our bodies. So it does not matter what your curve looks like, we just need something to start with. Now from I, we're going to measure down the fold the length of our dress. Okay, and that is going to give us J. Now again, we want to create a line here. So you're going to want to do length of dress plus 9 and mark that measuring down from the very top of the fabric down Mark that in a couple of places, and then connect those places so we make a nice straight line here at J. Then, once we have that line drawn, we're going to measure along J out until point K. And point K is going to be our full hip measurement divided by 4 plus 10 centimeters. Okay, so whatever math you come out with that, mark that along this line at J, and that will be point K. Now we need to draw a line connecting points F, H, and K. Now what we want to start by doing is connecting F and H and making a straight line from there all the way down to the line that connects J and K. Okay, when we do this, we may not go through point K. Okay, that's totally normal. K is there to help us later on once we're actually wearing the dress. Okay, so it's there for us, great. Don't stress about it if your line doesn't go through K right now. Okay, but do make a line that goes through F and H and goes a straight line from there down to the line of that connects J and K. Now a note here, if your upper bust measurement is significantly smaller than your full bust measurement, when you connect F and H, you might find that this line that you're drawing is really wide and goes right off of your fabric. If this happens, do not worry, do not add more fabric, okay? Draw this line, use it for now, and then we will make adjustments on the body, okay? I promise you it's going to all work out. Trust the process. And now that we have drawn in our line that connects points F and H, we are going to add 10 centimeters or 4 inches of extra fabric just to play with because, again, we are modeling this on the body. This is not going to be an exact science. So we're going to just measure out from the line that we have already on our fabric, out 4 inches, 10 centimeters, and trace that same shape all the way around. Once we've drawn that, we're going to extend the shoulder line out to our new extra fabric we just added, and then cut everything out. And when we cut it out, we will open this and look, we have the front of our dress. Ah, it's really coming together. Okay, now we just need to cut out the back. And to do this, we are going to lay our front directly on top of our second square, the second square that we cut out. That is also folded in half. Line up the front on the back, on the fold, just like the first one we did. And you're going to trace the bottom, the side, the armhole, and the shoulder. But for the neckline, we're going to do something slightly different, okay? So for the front, we did a crew neck neckline, but if we do that on the back, this is not going to fit over our head. So to make this fit over our head, we need to either do a V-neck or a square neck. Now, if you are doing a V-neck, measure from A down 20 centimeters and then connect B to that point, okay? And that will give you a really nice starting point for your V-neck. Now, if you want a square neck, this is totally up to you. Draw in whatever shape you want, okay? There is no right or wrong answer here. We just need to cut out something bigger than the crew neck. Otherwise, this project won't fit over our head and then we can't wear it. That would be a really big bummer. So draw this in, and then again, we're going to cut out our new neckline, and we're going to cut out the shoulder and everything else just like before. And now we have a front and a back. Now we're going to sew it together. So the first thing we're going to sew is the shoulders. So we're going to pin the front to the back with all of our lines and our drawings facing out so we can see them. Okay, so pin this, sew it using a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And now we need to actually check if this fits over our head. Okay, so like I said, once we sew the shoulder seams, we need to make sure this can fit over our heads. So we're going to take our project. Okay, it's basically like a big apron right now. Take it and make sure it fits over your head. If it doesn't, I would work on the square side. Okay, make this a little bit longer if you need to, or bring out your shoulders just a little bit. Okay, so just keep cutting this down a little bit until you can get it over your head. Okay, because this project doesn't have zippers or buttons. It needs to be able to be pulled on over your head. Once you have confirmed that it fits over your head, we are going to sew down the side seam. So we're going to lay our project flat on our table, line up the edges, pin everything in place. And remember that we have added a bunch of excess fabric to play with once we try this on. We need to cut that at the shoulder seam from the edge to the line that we drew for the shoulder. Okay, so clip or cut right to that line. That way we can fold this back and see what it's going to look like, so we can properly see what this looks like when we're wearing it. Okay, then once we have pinned it and cut the shoulder, then we are going to sew it, and make sure that you sew starting at this point where the shoulder meets the side seam, and we're going to follow our side seam line that we drew. Okay, we're thinking the line that we drew is going to be the correct size for us based on our measurements, but we need to find out if that's true or not when we actually wear it. So make sure we sew on this line. Now we need to repeat this on the other side, but the other side doesn't have lines. Don't worry. We know that we added 10 centimeters or 4 inches of space, so we can just measure that from the straight side seam. And for the shoulder, we can fold our project in half, fold our shoulder back to that line where we just cut it. And then we can, when we see the line on the original side, we just trace it onto the other side. Okay, this is a nice, easy trick we can use to copy that curve. Okay. Once we have copied this curve and the side seam, then we are going to again sew just the side seam on the second side. And now we can actually try this project on. Ooh, now is the fun part, you guys. We got through the math, we got through that stuff. Now we're gonna see what this actually looks like. It is really important that we adjust the dress in a certain order. So the first thing we're going to adjust is the neckline. If you have long hair, you're gonna wanna put your hair up for this. And then we're going to look at the neckline and decide if we like it or not. Now, I personally don't like the curve I drew originally. So I'm just going to take a pen, look at myself in a mirror. I'm using the camera because I'm recording, but use a mirror for you. And draw in where the shape you want this to be. Okay, just take a pen and draw whatever you want. You guys, this is where it gets really fun and creative, and we just get to design what we want. So we draw the shape that we want, we take the project off, we cut this, we put it back on, see if we like it. Yay! Okay, it's that easy. And you only have to adjust one side, left or right, because we will just copy that to both sides when we're done. Okay, so don't worry about making both sides even, just make them close to looking how you want. Okay, so once the neckline and the crew neck, the shorter curved neck is how you want, then be sure to flip it, because remember we have two necklines. We have a crew neck and then we have our V-neck or square neck. Okay, so do the same process on your V-neck or square neck. Cut it, shape it, get it to looking how you want. And then, yay, you have finished fixing your neckline. Next, we're gonna work on the armholes. And to start this, we're gonna tuck all the little tabs in on both sides so we can kind of see where we're starting. Do we like this? Now, if your armhole is too small, you want it to be longer, okay? Pull the tabs out, lengthen them to what you want, and then take your pen or marker and mark the line where you want them to be, okay? That's for if you want to make this wider than it currently is. Now, if you want to make it smaller, you want to bring it in more, take your pen and just draw where you would like this to be, okay? This is like really fun. You just like draw on your body. And if the armhole is too small for you, make this lower. Draw this down and lower it under your armpit. And again, just do this in small sections. Don't get crazy with it. And then once you think you have a new place that you like, we'll take it off. Make sure that whatever marks you've drawn, you connect them with a smooth curve. Okay, this needs to be a smooth shape. We can't just have lots of crazy wiggly lines everywhere. Once you have smoothly connected all of your new lines, make sure you again cut to that new line. And then to make this a little bit easier the next time we try it on, fold your fabric back to those lines and then clip or pin it down. That way when you try it on, it's going to be right where you want it and you can see if you like it or not. If it's still not quite right, keep adjusting it until you love the shape of this armhole. Okay? Yay! It's all coming together. Now, the next thing we want to adjust is our bust around our chest. So you want to play with your side seams. Is it too tight? If it is, then move your stitch lines out. This is why we added that extra seam allowance. If it's too big, move those lines in, make this smaller. Okay, play with this until you're happy with the way this entire dress fits on you from your belly button up. Okay, so we want to make sure the neckline, the shoulders, the sleeve holes, and the bust all look super nice and you love it. Okay, then once that is done, then we're going to play with the length of the dress, the bell shape, how much it's flaring out. Because some people like this really flared, some people like this quite straight. So again, we're just going to play with this. You can most likely bring those lines in, your side seams in. It's probably going to be way too big right now. If you want to, this is when you can look at point K. K might be a good place to kind of start sewing to and see if you like it. But really, you guys, this is just playing around, getting things how you want them to look. It's part of drafting. It's a creative process. There's no right or wrong answers. And if you guys get really stuck with it, if you're feeling overwhelmed with it, don't forget, I have an online sewing club, just $5 a month. You can join, ask questions, get help with this. I don't want you to get stuck or frustrated, okay? It's just meant to be fun and playful. Once you have the side seams pinned in where you think you want them, we're going to take the project off. We're going to take a marker and kind of mark where each pen is, remove the pens, and then lay everything flat. Because most likely you did not pin this nicely. I didn't do it either. So we need to lay everything flat and then create a smooth line to connect as many of these pin points as we can. But pinning on yourself is messy. We're gonna do our best. We're not gonna catch every pen point, okay? It's totally normal. So we're gonna take our pens, take our pen marks, make a line through them, do this on both sides, then we will sew these, try this on again, and when we try this on now, it's a good idea to actually have the seam allowances on the inside so we can see the shape that we are creating. Okay, now, from my chest to my waist looks great. Around my hips, this is way too tight. So I need to loosen this out. So I will put some pins here so I know where. So up to this point's fine. I don't need to change it. I just need to remove the stitches below this point. So I will seam rub that out. I will draw these lines out a little bit further. I will sew this time. And once we get a shape that we like, yay! Okay. Now we need to balance this, okay? Because maybe you took out 6 centimeters on one side, but 20 on the other, okay? That's gonna make your project really off-center. So what we're going to do is measure down from the top corner of our armhole. Some distance, I use 23 centimeters. You can pick anything, somewhere around here. And then we're going to measure how far our new stitch line is from our original stitch line. Okay, so on one side I have 11, on one side I have 10, so I want to make both of these 10 and a half. Okay, And we're going to do the same thing as we move down, making sure that we're taking an even amount out on both sides. Okay? Just making this even from side to side. So let's add another point, and we'll also do it at the very bottom. Okay? And then we connect all these points with smooth lines. Sew this. Try it on again. And if this is it, this is perfect, this looks exactly how you want, yay! You have just drafted your very own Pinafore dress, okay? Now, the last thing we're going to do is take this off, lay it down flat on our table, right side out, and we're gonna fold it in half, okay? Because remember, the left side and the right side should be the same. So now we're going to take a new marker and we are going to take a big, bold line over our final stitch lines, okay? The final marks for everything. We're going to take this big marker. We're just going to draw it in so we don't get confused or lost or use the wrong line. Then we're going to take one more marker and we're going to add a 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around. Once you have done that, we're going to cut along this last line that we just drew. We're going to use again our seam ripper, take out all of our stitches, and now you should have two pieces, a front with a crew neck, a back with a V-neck. Again, those are reversible. But these are your pattern pieces for making your very own Pinafore dress. Ooh, you did it! Yay! You did it! You have now officially drafted your very own unique custom fit Pinafore dress. How do you feel? Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about this project. I know it was a little bit of a long one, but I know you can do it. Now that you have the pattern or the outline for your Pinafore dress, we need to actually sew it together, which is exactly what I'm going to show you in the next video. And if you found this one is a little bit too advanced, don't forget, I'm also going to link it right here, the overall dress. It is the easier version of this and a great starting point if this one felt a tad overwhelming. So until the next one, happy sewing!